Now, the court was hearing a petition linked to the 2018 meeting of the Supreme Court Collegium. The petitioner had filed an RTI seeking details of what happened at the meeting. While the court is yet to deliver its verdict on the case, it did weigh in on the debate. The judges described the Collegium as the most transparent process and said, "Don't derail a system that is working." They also commented on the 2018 Collegium meeting, saying that no resolution was passed in it. Now, in a veiled jibe at retired judges, they also said it has become fashionable for former Collegium members to comment on decisions. Now, the judges did not name anyone, but this could be a reference to former Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi's autobiography, where he talked about the 2018 meeting. These comments by the top court come amidst a raging debate over the Collegium system for appointing judges. Law Minister Kiren Rijiju, as you remember, had recently called the system opaque and non-accountable. He also said it was alien to the Indian Constitution. Listen in.
Now, Mr. Rijiju, let me come back to this ratio, the lawyers and the judges. Now, lawyers, senior advocates, you mentioned ratio is smaller. But despite that, Mr. Rijiju, your government is sitting on the recommendations of the Collegium. I mean, you need to appoint judges fast. You're not doing it.
Collegium system is alien to the Indian Constitution. You tell me under which provision the Collegium system has been prescribed. But because the Supreme Court, in its own wisdom, through a court ruling or through a case judgment known as first judge's case, created a collegium. Now that collegium, whether the Supreme Court collegium or High Court collegiums, they recommend the name. And government has to do due diligence. Prior to 1991, all the judges are appointed by the government. What is the difference between consultation and concurrence? Is it same? What I'm saying is, as long as the collegium system is prevailing, I have to respect the system. But if you expect the government should merely sign the name to be appointed as a judge, just because it is recommended by the collegium, what is the role of government then? What does the word due diligence mean? Because the Supreme Court in its order itself has said that government has to do due diligence. So government is doing certain things which government is expected to do. So never say that government is sitting on the files. Then don't send the files to the government. You appoint yourself, you run the show then.
Now, just to give you some background, the Collegium system is used by the Indian judiciary to appoint judges. The Supreme Court Collegium is made up of 5 members, including the Chief Justice. This Collegium can elevate High Court judges to the Supreme Court, appoint senior lawyers as judges, and also pick the Chief Justices of state High Courts. This system is not part of the Constitution. It has been evolved through years of tradition and Supreme Court rulings. And there is a waging war between the government and the Supreme Court over it now. Aditya Pratap is a lawyer. He's joining us on the broadcast. Aditya Pratap, we've just heard the Law Minister. He was speaking at the Times Now Summit. This is what the Supreme Court has said today as far as the Collegium system is concerned. They say, don't derail a system that's working. Let the Collegium do its job. We are the most transparent organization. It has become fashionable for former members of the Collegium to comment on decisions. So the Supreme Court is clearly not very happy with the way the government is going about dissing the entire Collegium system.
See, because ultimately the issue is about judges' appointments. And let us not forget the fact that the government of India and the state governments are the largest litigators in the country. So ultimately, all the writ petitions going to High Court, Supreme Courts, they lie against the government. Now the party who is the number one respondent in all the cases wants to come and dictate how the judges should be appointed. Well, there is a limit to that because the government also should respect the integrity and autonomy of the judicial system. Number 2, of the independence of the judiciary. Number 2, we talk about collegium. Fine, it's a group of senior judges. And they have, of course, even today I can frankly say that the judges in the Bombay High Court are excellent. They are really, well picked by the Collegium and they're doing a wonderful job. In fact, the judiciary, you ask me honestly, I as a practicing lawyer can tell you, people might criticize the judiciary, but I will say with pride that the judiciary is among the most honest and the most capable compared to government departments. Today, government departments are filled with, bureaucrats whose efficiency is questionable. Today, you see judges genuinely, they sit, they work, they hear, they decide. And as a lawyer, government departments are rife with corruption. They say that to get your work done, you have to pay a bribe. But as an advocate with 10 years experience, I can tell you that Indian judiciary is comparatively among the most honest, ethical, and integral systems where you stand a very good chance of having an overworked judge decide your case on merits and trying his level best. It is the government which has not given the judiciary infrastructure. Bombay High Court has been crying for a new building, you don't give. So on one hand, the government does not give the judiciary the infrastructure it requires. And second, then it thinks it can mess around with judges' appointments.
But here's, Aditya, what the government's point of view is. The government has been saying, A, the system, collegium system, is opaque. B, it is non-constitutional because it has not been certified / verified / mandated / sanctioned by the constitution of this country. So opaque, unconstitutional, and it is a system where judges appoint judges.
Well, first and foremost, the system of judges appointing judges is also the norm in Western countries also. There's no doubt about that. Second thing, what do you mean unconstitutional? What do you call an act unconstitutional? You call those acts unconstitutional which violate the Constitution.
You have to unmute yourself, Aditya. I think you've muted yourself by mistake.
Sorry. Am I audible now? Wait.
Not really, actually.
So, as I'm saying, that unless an act violates the Constitution, you cannot hold it to, why does the question is, does the Constitution prohibit a collegium? Does the Constitution, my answer is no. The Constitution does not prohibit a collegium. So it is a form of collective decision making, which must be respected. So exactly. And third thing is that, in that case, and ultimately, if you want, then you try and amend the Constitution. But of course, ultimately, independence of the judiciary is one of the fundamental principles. It's like one of the basic structure of the Constitution. And even the Honorable Supreme Court of India, while striking down the NJSC Act, held that the basic structure of the Constitution, which is independence of the judiciary, cannot be altered.
Okay, Aditya, we'll leave it there for the moment. This was a brief chat, but it was a good chat. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm slipping into a quick break on the show. There's more coming up on the other side. In fact, on the other side is our Gujarat election special, so do stay with us.